Hi, Joel Wendt here. Let's see, spelled that wrong the first time I wrote it. American fascism. Well, it's here, folks. And in that peculiar American way, we're asleep. We feel the pinch of it. We know something's wrong. We can't put our finger on it. It's time to give it the right name. Now, what is fascism? Fascism is a collusion between government and business with the purpose of dominating the people. Now, we think of fascism in relationship to Nazi Germany and the Mussolini era in Italy, but America doesn't need to do that. Now, how did this start? Well, it takes a long time, and in America, where it comes forward without our, shall we say, public media figures actually understanding how government works and what goes on and what it's like when government isn't working in the right and healthy way, then nobody puts the right name to the thing. But the fact is, when 9/11 happened, the terrorists won. Their idea was to drive us through fear of what they might or might not do into all kinds of stupidity, which we then did. We ended up with 2 wars, one of which is still ongoing. These wars were very destructive of America. They in fact have destroyed our military, not the higher elements of the military. The members of the military that are part of what Eisenhower warned us when he warned us about the military-industrial complex. These wars have destroyed the heart of our military, which is our soldiers. And this is what we find out when we have these guys going berserk, when we don't pay attention to the amount of suicides, when the Pentagon likes to pretend that PTSD and other psychological costs are not really happening. It's that the individuals that joined our army were predisposed to being, okay? Nobody wants to deal with the truth. Why? Well, in America, the way our form of fascism works, you do what they say in the movies and on television and the detective stories. Follow the money. All right? Now, we know recently that the banks, etc., just screwed us. And they're getting away with it because the government is in collusion with the business interests. Okay? They dominate us. They don't do what we need done. They take care of themselves first. That's the American form of fascism. Okay? Now, so they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. Well, everybody got excited, and then what happened in Washington is they just made a new cookie jar out of free money out of the Fed and gave them some more cookies. Here, have some more cookies. The American people will pay for it through their taxes and through their miserable way of life and through having no health care and all the rest of that crap. Well, that's one aspect of the money. But what's the other aspect? Well, if you look at the corporations that dominate the military-industrial complex, like Halliburton, etc., they're getting richer and richer and richer and more powerful. And the Koch brothers are just the top of the iceberg, you know. They're just what's visible of what happens with the fact that's now in place because our Supreme Court has joined the fascism, unconscious fascism parade in America and says money is the same as speech. Just like corporations are people. These are insane thoughts. People who think these thoughts and think these thoughts are legitimate, they're the people that need the mental health system and 12-step programs. Not us ordinary people. We know something is right. We know what right and wrong is. We may not agree with each other on certain kinds of details, but basically we know we're getting screwed. And that's American fascism. So, we lost the war on terror, even though it's now the war that we're waging. And of course, as a war, it's allowed to be an excuse for all of these things being done to our civil liberties, and for all the invasions of our privacy, electronics. You want to know one of the things that goes on in a fascist society? If you just look at Germany and Italy during World War II and on the lead up to it, you have internal control checkpoints. Hello? Homeland Security. I mean, that's so funny that they picked that name, the homeland, the fatherland. Oh my goodness. I'm just checking the time because I only have so many minutes to do my screeds here. Okay, so anyway, what happens when you want to fly across the country? You go through a checkpoint. You're ID'd, your picture is taken. What happens when you want to vote? You go through a checkpoint. You're ID'd. You have to have picture ID to be able to vote. Now, Homeland Security is gearing up to do buses and train stations next. Okay? That's American fascism. It doesn't even have the balls to act like it's fascism. But the military-industrial complex and the finance people, because they think they're smarter than us, and because they have money and power, they get to be in charge and tell us what to do, and we just kind of roll over and be afraid. Why are we afraid? Because they've trained us to be afraid. Oh my goodness, the world is going to fall apart, the terrorists are going to come. More people die in the United States from problems with the health industry and from problems with alcoholism on our highways than have ever died in our wars or from the terrorists. We have a government that doesn't take care of Americans. It takes care of the rich people. So you have fascism, a collusion between business and government that doesn't do what the people need it to do, and which runs around basically saying, hello, we get to be in charge, we're smarter than everybody else, you better do what we want, and by the way, we can keep all the secrets we want, national security, mustn't look through that thing. Everywhere you turn, if you look at the reality of the situation, you see we have American fascism strongly in place, going totally along. Nobody has the guts to call it what it is. And we get afraid and we submit. And that's why on these little videos I refer you to my little booklet, Economic and Social Rebellion, which is about what to do about all this crap in a peaceful fashion. Welcome to reality, folks.